Greetings, Monsterites. Today in another sort of unboxing, we're going to be looking at the epicness that is Frosthaven. And no, this isn't about minis because, well, Frosthaven doesn't have a lot of minis, although that's an expansion awaiting production. This game is just humongous for many other reasons, as well as having some minis. And if minis is what you want, then the next unboxing, the final one of these sort of series of unboxings that I've been going through, is a total epic game, and a large portion of that epicness are the minis. So stay tuned for that because that's going to be quite a beautiful, beautiful video. So with that, let's take a look at this huge box. As you could see it earlier, compared to a regular drink size can. As shown, or shown right now, I also have a little expansion piece which is removable stickers so that when you place the stickers on the map, they're not kind of permanently there, or they lose their stick when you take them off like a regular sticker. So you can replay the campaign without issues using the stickers. And then I also have a solo scenarios, which are even more scenarios in addition to the many, easily over 100. I forgot how many total scenarios in this game. If you know what Gloomhaven is out there, it's one of the top rated games. It's been the top rated game on the Board Game Geek website for quite a few years. This is a sort of Gloomhaven too. It took everything that Gloomhaven is and made it more and bigger. Better? Well, we'll find out eventually. Taking these huge board games out of the box is always such an issue. So taking a look at the back here, which is beautiful, showcasing the components and such, what can I quickly shout out there? So there are over 100 scenarios. There is 138 scenarios. You're not going to go through all of them in one campaign as the story branches out in various ways. There's 12 playable classes, which is a nice amount, although at the start only 4 on unlocked, which I do like, and quick error fix there are actually 17, not 12. Now that's a lot of classes, and I'm glad that they locked most of them, as trying to make a decision and feeling the FOMO of not playing some classes while digging into others, it's just not something I want to contemplate. I just want to enjoy the game. And I'm going to be enjoying it solo anyway. So 4 is certainly enough, or whatever that starting number is. And then so you better understand the epicness, it'll have more of an effect when you see it, but it has over 2,500 cards. That's 2,500. There's 64 different enemy types. That's all with different artwork, stats, and such. And for all the different playable classes and characters, there are minis for those. So Gloomhaven, the original game that did such a great job, had really warm colors, and this one is kind of opposing with the cool colors, with a world full of snow and ice. The first thing I want to point out with such an epic game is that little sheet on top that shows you what everything is and how to organize it generally, like the tokens, and then how to also organize it back into the box. Splendid. Next, we have the rulebook, which is quite hefty, of course. Although if you've played Jaws of the Lion or Gloomhaven, you should really have quite the start. Next is a little sealed thing for later to be unlocked. And then take a look at these ring-bound books. You have the section book, which goes in depth on the scenarios. Then you have the scenario book itself. It's just an insane amount of content. And then you got the player slash, now I think the town sheet. So that's where you record all your stats, everything you find, the progression of your character. Here we have a nice map for what is Frosthaven and where you will apply the stickers so that you know what scenarios, what quests are open to you, which ones you've already finished. Just lots and lots of stuff. There's a ton of punch outs. I'll probably show a closer look at that soon. There you go. That's an intense amount of punch outs. Pretty much if you get this game, you're going to spend the first day setting up all the monsters into baggies, organizing the tokens, and all that. The little boxes here are all the different classes that are playable. Each box contains cards and things for your character. On the side, you're going to see more boxes, and those are going to be the boxes containing the actual miniatures. Around here, you're seeing all the different cards. You have item cards, you have the cards for battles, because here you don't use dice, you use cards in a very crafty system, and the reason why also Gloomhaven got as famous as it did, as you do depend on card, but there's a lot of card mitigation, so there's always going to be that certain amount of randomness, but the amount of mitigation is more than you would usually get in a dice-based game. You have event cards there, so between battles, you do little events, and there's a whole city event here as well, so that's a whole other, like, I don't want to say mini game, as I haven't played the game itself yet, although I heard that term out there, but there is a sort of other portion to the game other than just the actual dungeon crawling. So these are the little boxes I mentioned that have your miniatures, sealed envelopes that you can actually open once your character hits certain points in its progression, the dials here for your character's health and experience, and then the envelopes and monster cards that go inside them showing the different stats. And each of the 64 monsters all have different levels, and they're right on those cards. You turn those cards sideways and even turn them to their other side, and they display different stats for the monsters that they have at different higher levels. So I believe there's like 8 levels that each monster has. So options, options, options. Here's a look at all the tiles that you're going to be laying down, the monster standees that replace the miniatures. And if you see how packed this huge box is, you understand why it's not crawling with miniatures. But you can actually add those miniatures that's still in production, and that was a pre-order Kickstarter. So if you're going to get all these miniatures, I mean, that's a big box to have all the monster miniatures in Frosthaven and the full actual number of them that are necessary. And that plastic tray is for the various tokens that you will use, such as for stuns, poisons, damage, these other various effects during gameplay, etc, etc. So this is the epicness that is Frosthaven, one of the biggest games out there. So if you're not a board gamer, now you've seen it. Now you've seen one of the longest taking campaigns out there of any board game. This game will give you hours and hours and hours of play. And after you're done with it, you can always go through a different branch of stories with different characters. So it does have that replayability for even more. So really, if you want one game for the rest of your life, this may fit that desire. Although if you're new to games and this is the first one you get and you open your eyes to this and you learn everything you need to play this, you'll probably be wanting to grab some other games by that point and widen your horizons. Hope you enjoyed this quick look at the epicness that is Frosthaven by Cephalofair Games. And stay tuned for the next unboxing, which is a different sort of epicness, but on the same level as this. If you can believe it, I'll see you there.